I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Abby.
And this is Filling Ink,
the Inkswell podcast.
We are here for season 2, episode 5.
Yep.
I had to do the maths in my head then. I was like,
my face is just like, are you going to get this right first time?
Yeah, well, because obviously this is our season 2. We've decided to do the 5th episode. And it's going really well. But, you know, with this kind of roundup episode at the end, I think it's going to be quite nice just to reflect.
Yeah, we just felt like last time when it came to it, we had such a lovely time talking to Alice, but then we felt we had to kind of squish in the end of the season, and we think, we don't know, as we're recording this, we don't know how long this episode's going to be. Mm-hmm. We're just going to kind of feel it out and just have time to reflect and talk about it, because it's been an absolute cracker of a season.
Yeah, I think it's been a really educational season.
Yeah, I feel this is the one I have learnt the most with. I was going to say so far. Out of 2. Out of 2 seasons. It's the one I expected to learn the most from, which is nice. Like, it feels the most fulfilling.
Well, season 1 to me felt like a bit of a sharing is caring kind of season, because we all have different approaches to creating ideas and getting started on projects, don't we? So it was kind of like different people sharing their methods. Whereas this one was a season where I genuinely didn't have much knowledge. So I was very much just sitting back and allowing myself to be, I don't know, taught almost.
Yeah, and I think it's the one where we felt the most close in our creative process, in the sense that, well, from my perspective, I'm glad you agree, in the sense of that we both didn't know much. Like, it wasn't like you would be, I mean, you knew Gareth and you worked with him a lot, but it wasn't like you were coming at it going, oh yeah, you said that last week at this and that, and do you know what I mean? Like, we were both sort of like taking the notes and doing it. Like...
And we've shared a lot, haven't we, this season, which we kind of said we've not done before, have we? So we've actually, you know, looked at each other's work and kind of helped each other out, because obviously that's the guidance that we've been given.
Yeah, and it was nice. It was really nice. I mean, we're going to get into that very soon. Should we just talk about what's been going on at Inksville for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been utter carnage, hasn't it? We've been so busy. All good stuff though.
Amazing stuff, like no complaints, but
yeah, just lovely opportunities that when we first started, we always sat there and thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if one day?
Yes, we are hitting that. Wouldn't it be great? Quota.
Yeah.
Really well. It would be great if we did a podcast and a festival and a zine and did bits and pieces. But do you wanna talk about it?
Yeah, I guess so. So we're recording this fresh off the back of Huddersfield Literature Festival. So, you know, we have just kind of wrapped up what has been an amazing kind of festival this year, hasn't it? It's lasted quite a while.
About 3
ran over
weeks?
a few weeks. Yeah, it was about 3 weeks this year, I think. That could be wrong.
Yeah, don't quote us.
Sorry, Michelle, if you are listening. But yeah, so we were really blessed that we got to be quite heavily involved this year.
Yes.
So we did 3 events, didn't we? We just did our usual ink spill.
Yep, and we had loads of fantastic attendees.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was such a packed night. And not that, you know, this isn't bashing people, because I totally understand that we have our own thing, but it's been a long time since we've had a really good packed room.
So, do you think?
I don't know,
I think we've had like, the issue is, and again, this is a bit snobby, we have a really consistently full room. We're like around 30 people every month.
Yeah,
I think we were about 35 to 40 this month, and that's why it felt
a lot more like
full.
Yeah. And I think it was that. It was like the workshop. It's been such a long time since we've been having to like really. It's so lovely in the pub that we're in, because we're having to like pass chairs over everyone's heads just so everyone can get a seat.
Yep.
And it's been such a long time since we've really had to do that.
Or fetch them from other rooms and be like, sorry, is this, you know, Jeffrey?
That's exactly it. And so we were just really all trying to make space for each other, because people wanted to be there so badly. And I think that it's the first time in a long time that we've really had to really pack everyone in, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
The room
still abiding by health and safety. We did not
I guess
overfill our room.
No fire exits were blocked.
No.
Except for that one, but hey.
No.
None were blocked.
None were blocked.
None. There was one. But anyway.
They were back out the way, I know what you mean. But yeah, and that was on, our monthly nights are themed, that was on water.
It was,
So you had a great time doing props and interactivities. And
yeah, I'm just really trying to think outside the box with workshop activities at the moment, because I feel like we both kind of felt we were getting into a bit of a rut with workshops. We were doing quite similar things, and we wanted to continue to be inspiring.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some water features going on.
We did
some origami. Yeah, we just it's just been fun, has Inksville recently, which has been nice. It's feels as though it's kind of reignited that spark, that passion for it a bit more. Not that ever went, but
yeah. So we did the workshop night, and then we supported a member of our community. We did. Spencer. So Spencer is a musician who did a collection, and he was playing the songs from his album, and then we were doing readings reading the poems that went alongside it. Which was amazing and very vibey. That was in the teepee in the local theatre courtyard.
Bit chilly. Chilly teepee.
Definitely needed like a good quality hot chocolate to like warm back up after.
1000%. I was lucky. I came in what can only be described as a wearable sleeping bag.
Because that is accurate.
I've played my fair share of teepee marquee gigs in the past, and I know how chilly they can be. They almost form wind tunnels as well, which is it's not fun.
Yeah, and I sat too close to the heater, and people kept being like, "Are you okay? Don't burn yourself." And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to burn my clothes."
No, it was necessary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting night because I just think what Spencer created was really, really lovely.
Oh, it's so great.
Each of the songs had this beautiful kind of reading or this poem to lead into the song, and I've never really seen that before, and it was a really interesting way of kind of putting together a gig and putting together an album. And yeah, it was really nice.
He's under like, is it the Dead Poet?
Yes, he's called the Dead Poet.
And then there's various different handles, but he's on Spotify as the Dead Poet. So we recommend checking that out. And then the last event was our Huddersfield Lit Fest HLF special.
It was lovely as well. I just found that a really nice, heartwarming day. I just loved it. It was 2 hours. It felt, I was saying, I came away feeling like I'd had a therapy session. Just really nice to just sit and geek out about the North. I know.
Well, do you want to explain what the theme was?
Actually, we came up with it together, and it was very much inspired by your poem, wasn't it?
I'd forgotten that till you reminded me. Actually, I was just like,
And we were kind of thinking about this stereotype of the fact that this common saying that seems to circulate of it being right grim up north, and we decided, well, what is it that people stereotype about Yorkshire people? And we said, well, moors first of all, especially around here in Huddersfield. Mills. And misers, and the fact that we're all just miserable, we're all stingy. So we kind of thought, well, let's challenge those stereotypes. Let's kind of put together a workshop very similar to Inkspill, where we work through those stereotypes and actually try to kind of subvert them and turn them back on themselves and turn them into positives. And it was so successful, wasn't it?
It was such a lovely time. And we kind of thought outside the box a little bit with our activities, and we got people. I mean, you keep saying we, like, I have to hold my hands up. Hannah is absolutely like, I've basically done a lot of the social media and the podcast and stuff, and you've basically just like killed it with the workshops recently.
It comes hand in hand with teaching, though. That's my job, really, isn't it? Organising nice little tasks for people,
getting some glue sticks.
But I think it's nice because we love our individual kind of roles within Inkspill. Like, if I had to do your role, I would cry. But I love my role. I love doing things like, little workshop and crafty activities.
Yeah, I mean, we're both happy. We're both very content, so it's not a bother. It's just funny. I was just thinking, like, Anyway, Hannah's been killing it. Like, we did. One of my favourite ones was, and it made me laugh how much people like initially struggled with this. The frames with like these beautiful photos of like around Huddersfield and like. They were all around Huddersfield, weren't they?
Yeah, I wanted to show the complexity of Huddersfield as a town, and so we kind of showed it through different lenses. So we had like different. I forgot. What did I get?
Moors.
Oh yeah, the title.
The moors. You had a mill.
I did have a mill.
You had the high street.
I got one of Byram Arcade because that is just the most beautiful place.
I think we've referenced it before, but if you haven't visited Byram Arcade, we would recommend. All the scaffolding is down now, so it's beautiful.
It's really nice.
So you did that, and then we just wrote what we saw on it, and we had Sharpie markers, and we just handed them around. And like initially, people were like, "Where do we write?" And we were like, "No, you write on the plastic. You got a Sharpie," and they were like, really taken aback, and we were like, didn't realise this sort of thing that would break people the most.
It's funny, isn't it? It's when you kind of feel like you are breaking the rules a little bit. Like, we did a workshop activity once that involved ripping books to pieces, and everyone was like, no, it's like sacrilegious, but actually those are the best kind of activities, I think.
Very physical. It goes back to what Alice said about how like sometimes you need something tactile to like keep your hands busy so your mind can process stuff.
I've always been like that, though. I love kind of creating through my hands. So I thought other people would, and everyone said they really enjoyed that, didn't they?
They did. Yeah, that was my favourite activity. And then at the end you were like, I don't want to take these off now. No. I don't want to keep them.
They just looked so good. We might take them to the festival, which we'll be discussing later on.
Yeah, mentioning soon.
But yeah, it was really nice. Just a lovely, calm, chill afternoon where we just all chatted and shared and yeah, it was just really lovely,
Just
wasn't
had
it?
a really good time.
And we got to tick off a long time dream of ours of being part of Huddersfield Literature Festival,
Yeah,
which was just
it was
a dream.
great. It's always been a good festival. It's got like nice national coverage. So for us to, like, in our second year running Inkspill, to have that under our belt feels very nice.
It does, and it's definitely getting bigger as Huddersfield Literature Festival. I was looking at the lineup, kind of the
Program.
yeah, that's the word. I was like the brochure.
The brochure.
But it's really, they get some big names now. Which
They
is
do.
Good. Coming to our little old town.
No, I mean, the team behind it just worked incredibly hard, and, like, fair play to them, it pays off. So we had a great time. I'm sure I'd deal that about next year, but that's, if anyone is watching on YouTube and sees how tired we both look, that's why, because running this and working a full-time job has been
It's a lot.
exhausting. So shall we talk about our creative tasks?
Yes, the creative projects. Oh wait, no, the creative task from last week.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
'Cause
don't ask me about my project.
We're just gonna leave that alone. The project's got put aside.
I liked the task last week because actually being given that permission almost to not do my creative project was quite nice and
Very
do something a bit different. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to start, or shall I?
I was going to say, what did you get up to then? If you weren't working on your poetry, what did you do?
Well, I was going to talk about the fact that my flat is getting repossessed.
Oh God, yeah, yet more bad news for Abby. I just can't cope with this.
You can't go. No.
It's very hard for me, Abby.
Yeah. It's very hard for you.
Yes.
We're losing our lovely set. We're not losing it. We're just going to be relocating it.
It's gonna move.
I say set. It's a part of my house. The corner that we use for filming is going to be moved. Basically, since the last time we recorded last week, I found out my flat is being repossessed. Yeah, so my landlord is defaulting on the mortgage. I'm having to move house. You are going to help me, thank you.
Yes.
I have asked in advance, I'm not just telling you.
Just so you know, you're helping.
You and Ben. It's been a bit of a shitter, to be honest, because I've lived in this flat for 3 years. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. Everyone who comes here, so it's lovely. It doesn't look lovely now because I've been stressed and sad. So I've done my hands up. I've not done anything this week, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make excuses, because we talk about this quite openly. It's like, we both work full time.
Yeah.
This is a bonus. And actually, the best thing I thought for my creative project was actually to put aside and find a house, which we have, for me and my partner, because he's going to move in with me as well, which is lovely. But I didn't have capacity to creative or make anything new, and that is okay. So if anyone's listening,
completely understandable as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If anyone's listening, and you don't need as big a reason as your flat being repossessed to not be creative, but this is the reality of it. It's just I just haven't done anything this week, and that is okay.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think that's one thing that I really hope comes across in this podcast. We are just human beings at the end of the day.
Yes.
And even though we would love for writing to be our lives, unfortunately, we have very busy lives, and some things do just get they take over. They get in the way. I've been quite similar in a very less dramatic way, in that I've got year 11 in my job, and it's their exam season. So unfortunately, as part of being a teacher during this time, their needs go ahead of mine right now.
Yep, they are the priority.
They do. And you know what? It's just a couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to focus on myself again. I have managed to do our creative task from last week.
Yay.
I've been I liked the idea of not uploading my novel for a little bit and just taking a little bit of a step back from that. And I think I may have mentioned it in season 1, but I started writing a play a long time ago.
This one Ben was reading for you.
Yeah, and I enjoy kind of getting other people to read it. I think that's another piece of advice you gave last week, of hearing somebody else speak your words can sometimes be a really powerful thing.
Which I said so eloquently, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. No. You did. I got what you meant. But so I've been working on that a little bit more, because I am lucky enough to live in Hebden Bridge, and we have what's called the Little Theatre there, and it is a beautiful, tiny theatre.
You know what? I've never been.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's really small capacity. It was opened in the 1920s, so it all feels quite Art Deco-y. It's really lovely.
We should go. We'll find a show.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. What I love about it is, because it's so small, they celebrate kind of amateur or kind of novice playwrights.
Yeah.
And you can go and you can put your plays on there.
Fantastic.
So whatever you've created, you can stage it. So I saw a production there that was just really tiny, and it was tiny but amazing. The atmosphere in the theatre was brilliant, and I just thought, you know what, I want to do this. So I decided to work on my play for a little bit, and that was
amazing.
nice. Taking my head on out of my novel and put it onto another creative project.
And something very different as well, where you're not having to think about fleshing out a scene and giving all these like details, where actually you can be like, this is just what they're saying, and like
it's nice because it's supposed to be comedic. It's
that is not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, well,
I was ready for your grim concrete slice of life.
It's grim, but
sink.
it's funny. I've kind of tried to do it a little bit Samuel Beckett-y. It's like they're all going mad, and it's got a sad message, but actually it's funny in its execution. I hope. Anyway, that's me being very modest. Maybe I've not actually done that, and it's just sad.
No, I just, it's just not what I expected you to say at all. As like someone who's read your work. I'm excited.
Like, comedy in writing. I loved it. I actually loved writing comedy.
That's
dry
so
comedy,
sarcasm,
that kind of thing.
Nothing. That's it, overtly funny. That's what it is.
It's got to be. It's dark
like,
humour. I love dark humour. I mean, that's why I really like things like. I was gonna say Black Mirror, but that's just absolutely not funny in the slightest, is it? But I actually find things like that quite funny. I like Black Mirror.
Says a lot about you.
Because I think it's funny sometimes. I laugh at it.
Yeah,
that is bad. Anyway, I'm
not
very
saying it's bad.
off-piece.
I'm just saying it's like the math is mathing.
Who laughs at Black Mirror? Nobody, except for me.
Yeah, no, I can't watch Black Mirror. It's too much for a soft bean like me.
I've gone really off-piste here. I basically started to write the play instead. The second creative task was inspired by Clayne, wasn't it?
Yes.
Did you consider that at all? I mean, of course, fine if not.
I think I kind of was like, I do not have the capacity to do this before we record. But as we know, this is the last episode of the season. And I'm happy to kind of approach it. And I think I am the place where I'm moving into quite soon is I have a bigger office, and I'm just kind of I have a sewing machine that I haven't used in ages, and I really liked the idea of sewing some poetry, like free nice. Sewing some poetry. I'm not sure if I have the time capacity or skill to do that, but that's what came to mind when I was considering the task, where doing a few short poems.
That sounds lovely.
I quite like the idea of handkerchiefs.
Yeah, and kind of that's always you getting hands on, isn't it, with your poetry? And I think sometimes when you transform it into a different medium, it's really interesting to do that. Yeah. I think you did the was it called Poetry in Print or something? Wait, something print.
Oh, it was
maybe if I keep saying something print.
Prose poetry in print. You mean the People's Press?
That's it.
Right. Okay. Lots of P's. Is there a glossary term for lots of P's? Because like you get sibilants.
Plosives.
Is that not the sound of a P rather than like repeated?
Bilabial plosives, technically. Come on, because you have the two lips needed, which makes it bilabial, and then it's a burst of air to make the P, which is a plosive, so technically it's bilabial plosive. Alliteration.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Little detour. Yes, I'm sure I've mentioned this before actually, but I will happily just quickly allude to it again. I did a day course at the People's Power Press, which is in Saltaire near Bradford, which I wholeheartedly recommended to you at the time. I recommended to everyone at the time. It's run by Anthony Dunn, who I'm 100% sure I've mentioned his collection, Take This One to Bed. It's a 5-star. I think it's one of the beautiful things. I bought it for someone at Christmas, and I said the best time, so you do a little poetry workshop in the morning, and then you basically, he takes you through a load of writing, and then you distill until you have like one line of poetry. And I did it last summer, and I did it was even before a lot of the sort of geopolitical stuff that's happening now. But I did it. It's an opening line of poem which I'm still working on, which is "The world has closed its eyes to us. The world has closed its eyes." And very generously, you're allowed to do 2 prints, and because the line was so similar, I was allowed to do both lines because they repeat so closely and they're hung about and they're huge. Like trying to find a frame for them was really difficult. Yeah, it's amazing. I would 100%, I cannot recommend it enough. Also had an amazing sandwich that day that I still think about this. It was a hot samosa sandwich. Ooh, so it's like amazing white bread, a hot samosa, and then like loads of salad and like mango chutney and stuff.
That sounds incredible.
Amazing and vegan, which obviously,
Pastry in bread?
Yeah, but it was like hot and crispy, so it had like a real like textural vibe to it.
That sounds
and it was like
stunning.
A shed load of iceberg lettuce and tomato and cucumber. It was amazing. Like, I genuinely still think about it. Like,
well, let's do another podcast where it's sandwiches with Hannah and Abby, and we just go around and rate sarnies. I'd love that.
That's what the second season of Spilling Ink is going to be.
Yeah, we're
the second
take a
series.
We talk about poems over sandwiches. God, that would be. Gosh, I'm actually feeling quite emotional just at the thought of that.
I would
love
that.
I'd love to do.
Okay, stall that aside.
Yeah, I love at the moment. I keep listening to the podcast Table Manners with Jessie
Yes.
Ware. I love it.
But also, I look at the food a lot. I'm just like, that looks delicious.
No, exactly. But maybe that's what we could do. We can move into poetry and food. Anyway, we're going very off piece now. Let's get back on track.
So yes, I'm putting that on hold till I have like survived moving and getting things resettled, because I'm moving with my partner and like merging a household.
Oh, but it's a lot. I know exactly what you mean.
So that's me. I'm just signing off on that after a very long-winded chat.
Fair.
What about you?
I've not done Colleen's thing.
I thought that'd be the thing you'd done.
Yes,
we don't talk about this before we record.
No, I mean, we like to keep it organic. No, I haven't done it because I really I want to do it really, and I want to do it well. So I kind of thought a week is not enough time for me to really sit down and give that the time it deserves. I did something similar with the Ink Spill zine that we sold at our festival last year, and it was really nice because at Huddersfield Literature Festival we had a few spare copies, so I just very much kind of frisbeed them at people, and it was lovely. We were going through it, weren't we, with people who'd never seen it before,
but people we thought had seen it and they were delighted.
I know, I was like, how did you not know about this? And it was just really nice because I did that in quite a collage-y way. And I've kind of got snippets of poetry, stuck them in the zine, and then photocopied it, kind of thing, scanned it onto the computer. So it looked very kind of hodgepodge. Is that correct? Hodgepodge, that's it. Hodgepodge, who knows? But yeah, it felt very kind of organic, it felt very homemade. And so I thought that's the vibe I'd like to channel with my own kind of mini collection. Yeah. But I don't have a printer currently, and I don't have the time to sit and sift. But I do have the summer holidays coming up.
You do.
So
6 whole weeks.
Such a blissful bit of time. So I might do it then.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to do it.
No, that sounds great. And again, it's why we want to do this is like being realistic and knowing. And also, like, if you're listening to this and there's any points where you want to like not do everything consecutive weeks, you can like listen to one week and then take 2-3 weeks in between to like process it and listen to it and play with the ideas we've given you. Like, there's no rules to this.
Absolutely not. It'd be hilarious if there was.
Imagine we wouldn't abide by them.
If we were like, look, if you hadn't done last week's task, get off.
Yeah, bugger off. We don't want to talk to you. Like, no, we're not. No. I mean, it's not like that, even at Ink Spill on the nights, is it, and stuff?
No.
That was a much more long-winded intro than I expected. Shall we talk about this season?
Yes.
This little thing we've done. We're now officially halfway through Spilling Ink.
The entire year, aren't we?
The whole year.
We've only really got 2 seasons. Well, we have only got 2 seasons left, haven't we?
Mad.
How have you found this season then? This was the one that I think you were a little bit hesitant to approach.
Yeah, I think I don't know about you, and I don't mean this in a snobby way at all, but I think when you're running events, you want to feel more self-assured in your skills than you maybe necessarily are. Like, not because I want to be telling people what to do or putting anyone down or stressing anyone out, just because I think when you're in that like chatty leading role, you want to feel confident. And I guess this was the season where I was like, I feel the least confident.
Yeah, I think when you're putting yourself out there as the leader of something or the host of something, you need to kind of know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And we didn't.
No, I think we do. And I think that's why something I want to keep holding on to for Ink Spill is the fact that we know enough, but we're always learning. Like, we're not going to pretend that, you know, you're doing well getting published, I'm doing well performing, but we're not making money off this. We're not making it. We want it to be a career in the future, but it's not currently our career. Yeah. And I guess I was about to say, like, that's what humanises us. But it is. It keeps us like,
down to earth.
We're just normal people, as I said to like Faye and like poets. We're just like you in season 1. So editing just really bothers me because it's not something I intrinsically do, even though I know I need to. However, I think, like we alluded to in the intro, I've had the most fun just like chatting it through with people, and we're gonna go. I think we'll go through our episodes individually, but like all 3 guests offered something so interesting and like So it was all advice offered very kindly and not like, oh, you're not doing that already, which I quite appreciated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great. Just like the graph is just exponential. That's some hot maths for you.
Yeah.
How about you? Have you found it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think the breadth of kind of knowledge and advice that we've received has been really lovely, and very insightful. So yeah, really, really useful season.
Good.
That's going to be an unfortunate little strain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. We got quite giddy.
I'm just too excited, Hannah.
But yeah, so it's been really educational for me, and it's helped me to be a lot more critical about my work.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if we went through episodes, we don't need to talk about episode 1. Episode 1 was just us. I think it was possibly the shortest episode we recorded.
Yeah, it was shorter because we needed the guidance.
We did. I think that was the thing of us just being like, hello, we know nothing. Let us find out together.
Yeah.
And we did. We did. So episode 1. What a time. It feels ages ago. I don't know about you, but that feels like such a long time ago to me.
Yeah.
Episode 2 was with Gareth Clegg.
It was. Great guy.
Yeah, like, so you've been working with Gareth for a year?
I don't think that long.
Really?
Less than a year.
But concept of time is dreadful.
To be fair, it could be a year because who knows anymore.
What is time?
It's been a little while now, and as I say, I know that I've benefited from him editing my work, and so I thought he might have a little bit of wisdom to share, and boy did he. It was brilliant.
I wish sometimes it's really hard when you're recording interviews because you spend so much time being an engaged listener that you aren't an engaged learner, if that makes sense. Like you want to be interviewing and chatting and talking, and I think even, I mean, you said earlier you're over hearing our voices, but I still cringe when I hear us. I'm still gonna have to listen to Gareth's episode and just like block it out and be like, these are two strangers, as I write down all of his like wonderful knowledge.
I was just blown away by how much I didn't know about just the editing industry, I guess, but the different kind of roles within it, and just by what an editor looks for. I think very much we always put the author kind of in the driving seat, don't we? But in actual fact, editors play a huge role, and I didn't realise just how crucial that role was until I spoke to Gareth.
Yeah, totally.
They can transform a piece, can't they?
Yeah, I think also because like we talk about like you're writing a novel as your creative project. I've been writing a novel outside of this, and actually I was just sat there and I think I just liked his line of just being like, send an edited draft. Do not just send it and think, oh, this is a 5 out of 10, but the editor will fix it. They can only get to like a 6 or a 7 because you've left it at a 5. Whereas if you send it at a 7, you can get it to a 9. Like it's much more worth their time and yours. And like he talked about like not wasting your money. And I was just like, I liked the candor of just being like, don't send me crap. Basically, send me something good.
Absolutely, because if you are sending them like crap, really, they're not going to be able to take it to a more polished level because they're just going to get to a basic level for you, aren't they? So I think, just this idea of, really being critical about your own work and making sure it's to a standard you're proud of first before taking it to that editing stage, it's just going to be beneficial for everyone. And it probably means you're going to get a better product quicker.
Yeah. I think it was your line of, I'm going to look at my draft again and not assume an editor's going to fix it. Yeah. I liked that because I think, I hung out with a friend recently who's also writing a fantasy book, and we were sat talking, and she just hit 75k on her first draft, and we were talking about how my first draft was 43k and my second draft was 106k, and she was like, why was your first draft so short? How is it such a big jump? And I was like, to be honest, both those drafts, really, the first draft is 0.5 and the second draft is draft 1, and even that is probably like, it's shoddy. Like I wouldn't want anyone near it currently. And I think I guess that also applied to me as I was writing. Like I did need the momentum initially, but now I'm going to like the second draft. I need to be more critical and more like, I don't need to push through this anymore. I actually need to write something of quality that like when I'm going to be editing it myself, but even before it's something I'm proud of, actually something I can actually properly edit.
I completely agree.
So yeah, that was Gareth for me. How about anything to add from? Your side?
Yeah, but no, nothing really other than that. I just find it really fascinating, and I found it really interesting to hear about the intricacies of the editing industry, because editing's kind of a role actually that I've always wanted to go into. And actually when I listened to Gareth, I thought, wow, there's a lot more to it than I thought. So it's an area I need to do a bit more research in, if it's something I decide to pursue in the future.
Yeah, just as you do, It's classic Hannah. She'll just turn her hand to
careers.
stuff. You do though. It's impressive. But yeah, I totally agree. I think even just listening to him, I was like, I'm frothing at the mouth to get published, but actually I don't know as much about it as I'd like to. So
yeah, exactly the same. But that's for our next season, isn't it? Yeah, third season that we're talking about.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Next guest.
Next guest was Adrian. Yes. Lovely Adrian. An absolute delight. I just because he's a member of my family, I was just very used to chatting to him. I knew he was good. Like, I've read his collection. It's great. I had when I brought him up as a guest, you were like, just judgment, seems like a good fit. The depth.
The knowledge.
It was like an endless mine.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many... It's so sad. My brain was just like, there's so many lines from Adrian's interview that I was like, this will do great on social media, these little sound bites.
But he dropped those kind of one-liners, didn't he? Yeah, throughout.
Yeah, it was incredible. I just came away and I was just like, I guess it's different when you hang out with someone who's like their family, and like, he's my partner's brother, and like we've had meals together, and like and we're both, I mean, he wants to look at my writing, which I'm just like, after thinking, I was like, not this year, maybe next year I'll do an Adrian specific collection. But yeah, I just felt like he just kept, it's just like such a gift of like information.
Yeah, I think as well, my biggest thing that I took from that conversation was the brutality sometimes that you have to face your work with, and it sticks with me because I just thought it was such a brilliant way of phrasing it. Which of your darlings are you going to kill? It's kind of going through and killing your darlings, because there have been so many times that I've loved something, but I've had to let it go because actually in the grand scheme of things, it's taken up a word count, or it's just waffle. It's not necessary.
The mental image I got was when you were at uni and people used to put crappy nonsense words at the bottom of their essay to like bump up their word count and then make them white. That's what I thought, and that's what made me think. Thing to do. It's such a bizarre hack. I'm not sure that would work anymore. But I just think about when I was talking, I was just like, I feel like there's so much white bump in my essay, in my novel in particular, that needs to get cut.
And I think just as well, it was lovely to have his experience of being published and going through that editorial process, both himself, because he was quite he kind of had two perspectives. One collection was self-published, wasn't it, and one collection,
no, they're both. One was Burning Iron, I think one was Smokestack.
Oh, sorry, I thought one was where he had to self-edit.
No, I think he may have had a bit of an issue with his editor. Right. Just he took more of a lead on the editing role.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember. This is the issue when, even though you record like a week apart,
yeah,
we have slept since then. We have run festivals since then. But yeah, he did a lot of self-editing, which is also an interesting thing, because again, it kind of leans on Gareth's line of like, you need to edit. You cannot rely on like someone else to take this for you. Yeah. Which I loved, and just really insightful conversations that I will be ruminating on for a while.
Yeah. It was fab.
And then Cullen.
Yeah, final guest last week. Cullen was brilliant. We kind of knew he would be because we talked to him quite a lot when we were at Attic Stories, didn't we? Yeah. But two very different kind of poets in their approach to the poetry world, I feel. Yes. And as well, the experience that Cullen's had in terms of the festival he's played, and he's played quite high publicity events, hasn't he?
Very high profile.
That's it, high profile. That was it. It was a high publicity.
I was trying to do it subtly for you to throw it out there.
High profile. But that was amazing to hear his experience from that side of things as well.
Yeah, I mean, also just like the normalcy for him. Like he's just very like, he's just incredibly down to earth. Like I think we were laughing that he didn't, when we asked him to introduce himself in the interview, he didn't mention the stuff that we knew he'd done in his bio. Yeah. And then I was really second guessing myself, like, am I the right person? Definitely was Cullen who did all these things. But yeah, I loved, like you said, the normalcy, the down to earth approach to poetry and the poetry industry, because we have said
we ourselves have met some people in this industry that maybe aren't quite as down to earth and supportive as one would like. So yeah, it was just really refreshing to have that conversation with him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just really made me feel like, we talk about the fact that that episode was supposed to focus on mental health and more focused on writing, but actually I think a lot of what Colleen spoke about was mental health focused. It just wasn't like under the banner of it. And I think actually for us, we both, after finishing recording last week, was just like, it's so good to have a break and just like step back and not look at this project, and like, and that he sort of gave us the reason to. I think also like his approach to collating his collection was very, very interesting as well.
It was, and I like the almost immediacy of it, of why wait? If you want your work out there, if you want people to be talking about you or to be reading your work, you've got to give it to them.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, there is no point waiting until somebody picks you out of a crowd. If you want to be known, get the word out there.
Yeah, I mean, something I'm sure I'll talk about next season, which I'm very excited to say, is that I've kind of been a bit more ballsy with applying for like performance slots this year. I think that kind of is, you know, it's not like, you know, I've not gone mad, I've not gone wild and outrageous, but I've just been a bit more like, hello, I'm a poet, this is what I do, here's a video of my work, do you have any slots? And even if it's just been like more open mics, it's just been nice to have the time to the confidence to actually be a bit more like cheeky.
A bit more, yeah, no, I agree.
Which is kind of a similar thing, but with him who wants something physical. So yeah, just a normal run-of-the-mill season.
All around a fantastic season, hasn't it? It's been really good. And it gets us kind of prepped for season 3, doesn't it?
Yeah. Should we talk about it?
Yeah, what is to come in the summer season?
In the summer season, I don't want to say it like that, it's just mocking you. The summer season is looking at sharing your work, whether like performing or publishing or whatever sharing means. It's going to focus on getting your work out there.
Yeah. And again, it's quite good because we are going to come at this with 2 different viewpoints and different backgrounds and experience, because you perform everywhere at the moment. You're doing some really good gigs.
Have a nice time.
And I've got quite a few publications out to about now. So I've been published a lot in print. You have performed a lot around the country, really, around the north, definitely. You're
around the north,
spreading, aren't you, at the moment? Well, every time I go on Instagram, you're in a different city, and I'm just, honestly, I think to myself sometimes, how do you do it? Because having to travel that much on top of a full-time job, well, I just, it's too much.
Yeah, it's funny because I really wanted this year to be dedicated on getting some stuff published, because you've really inspired me. Because like, I mean, I'm sure we will talk this next season. I don't want to preempt ourselves, but also like, let's be honest, there's a gap between this. No one's gonna be like, you expect to grab this in episode 5 of season 2, or if you are, please don't. When just humans.
We're aware.
But you talked about how like getting that first publication was very, very difficult for you, and actually getting that first credit was like the once you had that, the ball started rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that I need to get, and it's the, I mean, my mum asks a lot, is like, because my mum cares about you, because she's met you, and I would say, oh, Hannah got published, like you got Heroica. And I mentioned that to my mum, and mum was like, that's great, congratulations, Hannah, send it to me if you have it online. I was like, lovely stuff. And then she was like, when are you getting published? And I was like, when I'm not being made redundant, when my flat isn't being repossessed, and because I had steroid injections the other month as well. So I've like speed run a lot of like major life milestones.
There's loads going on.
So when that dies down, I do have at the time of recording a couple of competition stuff that I'm working on. But they close. The thing is, I'm only really good at applying for like submission windows or like competitions when they're closing soon.
Oh, I'm the same. You only ever discover them when the deadline's like in 2 days or that night or something. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yes. So I'm going to round off on that, because I do want to talk this more. For me, I'm probably the most excited. I think getting started was a really good one for like us getting in the zone. Like season 1 was like good. I think season 2 challenged me. Season 3 is where I'll flourish, and like I have a lot to say and like a lot about sharing and performing, but also like a lot to learn from you about getting published and stuff like that. And we already have our guests lined up, and our guests are so yeah, season 3 is
shaping up to be a good one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're going to get onto this now. We have got a lot kind of coming up over the next few weeks / months.
Is that a hand over to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. We are doing a live podcast recording as part of the programme.
We should caveat that we hope we
touch wood.
But if you don't hear anything, it's probably because we messed it up somehow.
Well, it's going to be us that's going to mess it up because the tech boys are going to be fine without us. Yeah. If it's not us, it could be Alex and Ben doing being an ink spill widower. Talking about like how that feels. The plan is to do we've got an hour slot set aside where we're just going to record me and thee chatting with our community, whoever wants to stay and talk to us. But we will be doing a Q&A call out. If anyone would like to drop us a Q&A, there'll be if it's on Spotify, there's the box. You can drop questions in there if you wanted. And if it's on YouTube, you can also pop any questions in the comments. Please do. If there's anything you want to ask us, it's going to be completely off-piste. It's a festival special. It's just a bonus episode that when I was planning the programme, I was like, would it be fun to do this? And Hannah was like, yeah, go on then.
I just can't wait to kind of get people from Inkspill involved in the conversation.
And it's not just us sat in a room.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be nice having the audience in front of us to kind of throw questions out to them as well. And I think it's going to be really nice. Again, if you're new to Inkspill, if you've never been to Inkspill, that's probably your best start. We had quite a few people who came to the festival last year and then have just stuck with us ever since. So we would love to meet you.
The programme is looking... It's looking, if I can say so myself, it's looking great.
It's looking good. And then season 3 will be out on August 16th.
Yeah, and I'm just so excited.
It's such a big year.
It's such a big, it's like, whenever we sort of comment on like, we really want to do this, and now we're doing it, and it's just really exciting.
Yeah.
We'll be back on August 16th. Have I forgotten anything?
No, I think that's everything.
Should we sign off?
Come on then, let's call it a day on season 2 of Spilling Ink.
Okay, well.
Thanks, Book Podcast.
See you soon.
See you then. See you in July. See you in August. If not, it's been nice.
Oh no, we forgot something important. We forgot to let you all know what the creative prompt for your projects will be to tide you over between seasons 2 and 3 of Spilling Ink. So this is a little message from Abby from the future to say that we would like you to focus on writing the second draft of your creative project using all the edits you've developed through this season. Both myself and Hannah will be doing this, but as always, I want to take a moment to remind you that this podcast is about being creative and realistic. If you can't manage a full second draft before the 3rd season starts, please don't worry or get stressed out. We totally understand that life gets in the way. It has for both of us, as evidenced by the last 2 seasons. Just focus on trying, and that's all we would want from you guys. So, there you go.
Right, bye everyone.
Bye.